brand new episode of the Litecast here on the CF After Dark Network. I'm Austin Keeney. I'm joined by Matt Nelson and a special guest, Dylan Kuhn, tonight. We've got, I'd say, the OG trio here. Well, maybe not the OGs, but the guys that were manning the fort there at the old site for a while. It's NBA draft night, so we had to bring Dylan on, talk a little ball, talk a little Brooklyn Nets. Hopefully some Joshua Jefferson as we record this live. Hopefully he gets picked later tonight. We'll see. But, gentlemen, how we doing? How's your summer going?
Pretty good. Keeney, I know we're going to get into it. I think both of us have some displeasures with our teams tonight. But it's been a slow news summer, which isn't always a bad thing in my line of work, at least locally. So, really, so far, so good.
Dylan, I'm happy you're here. There's so much NBA stuff going on that we would have felt naked without having you on this show to talk about this. Maybe not naked. Maybe that's the wrong term. Unarmed. How about that?
Hey, glad I could be here. It is like we are almost to the peak of the NBA season, which is like midsummer after.
Uh-oh. Should we jump right in with the draft and it's happening live right now. Dylan, I feel you have to address it right off the top. Put on your scouting cap and tell me why this isn't what you wanted the Nets to do.
Well, I think I said it earlier in the group chat, I watch a lot of college basketball, Keeney. I've probably watched Darius Acuff and Kingston Flemings and Mikal Brown Jr. I probably watched them all play at least 5 games this year. I watched a lot of Flemings and a lot of Acuff. But, Keeney, I think you and I both have kind of a soft spot for Louisville. I like dead ass, even when Brown was at his peak health this season, I think he was probably the 3rd best player on that Louisville team. In terms of what he was doing to impact winning. I think Ryan Conwell was the instant offense. That guy was awesome. He was from Indiana State originally, and then transferred to Louisville. Javon Hadley is another transfer that I really liked, I think from Colorado, and cousin of Curtis Jones. And then after that, Mikal Brown was kind of a dangerous 3rd option. But I wouldn't even put Mikal Brown in the same ballpark as Flemings and Acuff. They're not even similar. We're talking about different caliber, and I know it's all on potential, but they're about all the same size. It's not like Brown has this way better length or athleticism. I don't know. It was the one guy that I didn't want them to pick, and I felt like Acuff and Flemings were such no-brainers and such safe picks, and then they went and did that, and it was predictable, but it still hurts. Keeney's battling some technical issues here.
When am I not battling technical issues? I hate it. I'm trying a different setup tonight, and so far the returns are not promising right now.
When is Dylan not battling Brooklyn Nets front office management?
Man. Yeah, on the day after a bizarre Julius Randle trade, we draft my least favorite player in the top 10 tonight. Just unbelievable.
They just refuse to love you back, man.
Yeah. It's a toxic relationship at this point, Keeney. And the thing is, had Halliburton not sprained or tore his Achilles,
Halliburton.
And if he would have had a full season, I would have probably just jumped on that bandwagon. But now it feels like if I switch from the Nets to the Pacers this offseason, I feel like that's bad vibes. I don't want to bring my curse or my stink to the Indiana Pacers. I don't want the Pacers to be the next Brooklyn Nets. Maybe I just follow Joshua Jefferson. That's what Jake Brennan, he just was I guess I'll be a Nuggets fan because Monte Morris got drafted by the Nuggets, and that got him a championship. And what do I have? Not shit.
I did do some Brooklyn Nets research, Dylan, and not to make you feel any worse, but I was trying to figure out what the mid-level exceptions and all of those tax implications were for NBA free agency, which honestly, it might take like a master's degree in that to figure out. It's
no idea how it works.
very confusing.
None.
Unfortunately, the examples that kept getting brought up were both Brooklyn Nets from 21 and from I believe it was 2013. I was like, boy, Dylan would love to hear this about how the Nets being used as the example for bizarre cap situations.
I also have just some. I think this is all of their first round picks for the Brooklyn Nets in the last 20 years. I'm not going to name all of them because there's too many, but I'll just highlight some of these names, Matt, and you just tell me if you know who they are. Nolan Traore, you got that in your bag, Matt?
No, I don't, unfortunately.
That was last year. So a really big rookie season out of Nolan Traore. How about Derek Whitehead? You got that with you, Matt?
No, I don't.
Can I interest you in Zanan Musa or a Chris McCullough or a Marshawn Brooks?
Like Musa Diabate?
Matt, there have been some incredible misses by the Brooklyn Nets in the first round of NBA drafts. Like not only like guys that like, oh, they thought they were going to be maybe an all-star and they turned out to be a role player. I'm talking about guys that just were never heard from again after draft night. Guys that just straight up vanished. I remember them drafting Zanan Musa. I think he was Croatian or Slovenian, and very quickly, I think like 2 or 3 years out of the league entirely.
Oh man. I mean, we could just talk Nets and Nets and Timberwolves bad draft picks. I mean, Johnny Flynn is still swimming around in my brain.
So that's what I feel like happened tonight. I really think Darius Acuff, I mean, Stephen Curry, I'm not going to like compare Darius Acuff to that level, but like it felt like the obvious stud guard was Darius Acuff, and we took the guy that nobody's going to know in 10 years.
Who do you think is more excited? The Guangdong Tigers to see Thanasis Antetokounmpo, or the Oklahoma City Blue to see Bennett Sturtz? Which team do you think is more excited?
I really think, do the Oklahoma City Blue play in Oklahoma City? That's probably a stupid question. They just say your G League team is in the same city as the team.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing the Bennett Sturtz effect. I would guess they will have more attendance at the OKC Blue games than the Thunder. Just a captivating basketball player. You've never seen anybody quite like Bennett Sturtz. No. A undersized 3-point white like you don't really see that brand of player all that often.
No.
Really a pioneer in that field. So I'm really excited to see a new type of basketball player out of Bennett Sturtz.
Yeah, you know, I think I think what Joe Harris has meant for teams like Brooklyn, like the Timberwolves, you know, the league just hasn't seen very many of those. So I think it's about time that they got, you know, somebody of that ilk to join a big friend. You know, the Oklahoma City Blue, I'm sure, a really well-run team. And I think Sturtz will get really familiar with them very quickly and should get up to speed. And honestly, that's great for the G League to pick up, you know, a first-round pick like that from day one. It's huge that he's going to play there right away. That's fantastic.
I really hope he can inspire more 6'2" white guards to stand on the perimeter and shoot threes in the NBA. I really feel like that's been something that's missing in the game, and hopefully more to come on that front.
More to come on that front for sure. Can I? This is okay. So we got to talk about the Giannis trade and obviously Dustin May leaving. I have a lot of thoughts on that. I think it's actually a great move for him, but I want your thoughts on it. When I saw the Giannis news, my first reaction was, when does the Thanasis news break? Because, you know, that's like the number one NBA Twitter joke is what is going to happen to his brother, a corpse that has just been drugged behind him for the last 4 or 5 years. And no word yet on if he'll be joining that. Hey, the Heat might need him. There's not a whole lot left on that roster right now.
They need some depth. They need some depth.
They do. It's Bam Adebayo and what Gary Harris,
The ghost of Andrew Wiggins.
Did you see the rumor that Andrew Wiggins didn't sign his extension essentially because it would have made him tradable? And he basically was like, apparently none of their players have like signed their offers. Are there any other options? Because once they sign in, they can be traded. So technically they're like restricted free agents. Again, it's NBA free agency. I'm not 100% certain how it works, but I think the whole team knew that something was going to happen because like nobody has opted in except for Gary Harris. He's like the only one who's like, yeah, go ahead. I'll come back. I think they were all options to be traded, which I think is hilarious. They damn near traded the whole roster. Also love that for that trade we'll talk about forever, that Bobby Portis got thrown back in. Arkansas
Never forget
legend.
the Arkansas-Iowa State basketball game where George Niang just did a whole lot of FU to Bobby Portis. What a game.
When they drafted him, I remember thinking, what? This guy cannot play in the league. I was wrong. Bobby Portis has been actually a pretty good
integral to like when the Bucks were really good.
Right. Bobby Portis of all people. My wife just came down. I just got a glare. I think my kids have been just upstairs, not sleeping and generally behaving poorly. So maybe I if I get cut out, Dylan, it won't be my audio or it'll be my wife flipping.
This will be an ISO Litecast where I just talk about how soon I am to be a Nets fan.
That's right. Honestly, great. It felt like the Giannis trade was like the lead. Like, I don't know if you want to call it a blockbuster. Everyone knew something was going to happen.
Yeah.
But even my wife was asking me, like, if Jaylen Brown was the offer for the Celtics, why would you not take that? I listened to Brian Windhorst. Windy did a nice job, basically saying the Bucks know they're going to stink. Yeah. Why pay Jaylen Brown all this money and waste 3 years of his career and waste their time? Felt like they wanted to rebuild it. And I feel like if you're a Celtics fan, you got to be in a weird spot, right? Of you were almost wishing that you traded Jaylen Brown, and now that you didn't, you're almost like, oh, we got to keep Jaylen Brown, which is a great thing. But they're gonna have to pay him eventually too. So I don't know. I just find the whole situation fascinating.
Yeah, I think like the other thing that kind of sucks is I feel like this Giannis trade probably should have happened 2 years ago. Giannis will still be a really good basketball player in the next 3 years, but it could have been the next 5 to 6 years if he would have been drafted a couple years ago. And also, like you said, Matt, I don't think the fit on the Miami Heat makes a whole lot of sense. Like, I don't think him or Bam are probably good enough perimeter shooters to give the space that both those guys want in the middle of the court. And then they just traded all their depth. Another funny thing about this Miami trade, Jaime Jaquez was at like an open gym in Miami when it all went down. And I mean, totally understand why a 23-year-old multimillionaire in Miami is a little upset about moving to Milwaukee. Like that just like, I bet that dude was having the time of his life.
No question.
And brutal.
And it was balling, like turned out to be a great pick by them. It feels like Tyler Hero is going to get traded or something. Like I'm kind of shocked that they threw him in. It feels like almost an afterthought. And I know he's a good player when he's healthy. He was hurt a lot this past year, but a ton of picks. Like I need to talk to. I've got a lot of friends from Wisconsin. I need to talk to them. I'm guessing they would feel like the trade of Giannis was a foregone conclusion. And I'll mention my wife again. She asked like, why didn't it work in Milwaukee? I'm like, well, it did work. They did win a ring, and it's hard to keep someone like that in Milwaukee. They're not going to spend as much as other teams will, and there was nothing left. They tried every iteration of coach and players possible to get another title around him, and it didn't work. So at some point, you move on. You won your ring. He stayed there, I think, way longer than I expected. Right, like when he first started playing well there, I was Kirk Herbstreit. Right? He's gone. Like Giannis will be. They'll trade him. They won't be able to re-sign him, and they did. They kept him for a long time. That's fascinating, but maybe not as fascinating as Dusty May, the national title-winning coach, leaving to go coach the Dallas Mavericks. To me, this reeks of these college coaches just cannot be having fun. And I'm curious what your thoughts are. I listened to Gary Parrish talk about this a little bit on CBS, and that's basically the whole point. Evidently, like he had hinted at in the offseason, right after the title, that I'm not thrilled that I don't get time to unwind, celebrate, relax. Like a day after the title, I'm trying to keep my roster together because teams are trying to poach my players. And man, if Dusty May, who's young and rose really quick, is tired of this sport, like what is Tom Izzo doing in it still?
Yeah.
Anyway, Dylan, is this more about the chance to coach the Mavs, or is this more about college basketball spitting you up and chewing you out?
I think there is a lot too, and just the uncertainty surrounding college sports right now in general. Like Dusty May, basically, like you said, a meteoric rise in the sport, got FAU to a Final Four, wins a championship with Michigan, and then as soon as that's done, months later, he's going to the NBA. And college coaches, like, infamously almost never do well in the NBA either. Billy Donovan is probably, and not like Billy Donovan set the NBA on fire, but he was able to stick around for a long time. I don't know. I think it says a lot about, like you said, Dusty May has probably decades left of coaching in him. I don't know if he is confident in the NCAA decades down the line. I'm not super confident in them right now. So, like, what does Michigan look like in 20 years? Or what does college basketball look like in 20 years? I think the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA is a lot safer bet than the current situation in college sports.
Gentlemen, let me tell you why the Dallas Mavericks, you know, this is actually a great move for Dusty May to coach the Mavericks.
I forgot.
That's right. Matt, how could you? I mean, who could turn down the chance to coach Cooper Flagg? If there were any other college coaches that were consulted about this job, I don't believe that's actually true. I mean,
you don't believe they went after John Shire?
I think that's fake news. I don't think that actually happened.
It could be.
I'll let John Shire refute it if you want. Man, we're in the Jaden Quentin's range. The guy who played like 2 games at Kentucky last year, getting drafted in the first round.
Arizona State legend, Big 12 legend.
We're at the point of the draft where
Big 12 legend. That's right.
He is a Big 12 legend. We're kind of throwing our hands up and saying, what are we doing? Like, we're picking guys that don't play basketball in the first round of the draft. And I mean, man,
a guy from Stanford got drafted. I didn't know Stanford still had a basketball program, quite frankly.
Neither do they, Matt.
Brooke Lopez. Yeah. Brooklyn Nets legend.
Yep. Franchise leading scorer, Brooke Lopez.
Is he the one that just figured out how to shoot
the last
in one off season?
Yep.
One off season, he goes from like 5 3-point attempts to the next season. Now he's a 39% 3-point shooter. Just absolutely bizarre.
Stanford educated.
Anyway.
Stanford educated.
Also, I think Dusty May is going to be the exception to the college coaches can't translate to the NBA rule. I mean, the guy's a basketball savant. Look at how quickly he rose up the ranks in college basketball. He's I'm pretty sure he's from Indiana, so like the game's in his blood. I mean, he was born to do this. Cooper Flagg, Morez Johnson, Dusty May's familiar with him. I wouldn't be surprised if the Mavs are, knocking on the door of a finals run here in the next couple of years. Let's be honest.
This is just propaganda coming out of Keeney's mouth right now.
This is nasty. Keeney, you were like, I think at least at Michigan, I think Morez Johnson was probably the least impressive front court player, which is not, I mean, like, he was still a very good player. And I think just like objectively, it was a reach at the 9th pick. You get why they did it because of Dusty May, but would you rather have one of the other Michigan front court players?
Honestly, all right, honesty hour here. If we were going to take a Michigan guy, I would have taken Mara, but I'm not a scout, you know. Obviously Dusty May knows these guys better than anybody, and he just chose Morez Johnson, so he knows something that I don't. I would have liked to see Braden Burries be the pick for the Mavs, but like I said, I'm not a scout, so it's not my call. How are we feeling, boys, about Joshua Jefferson? Do you think he's going to get picked tonight? And if so, is there a spot that you're circling here at the end of the first round that you're hoping picks him?
I think the one thing that really helps him is all these teams kind of at the bottom of the first round are in win now mode, and they don't want a guy that they have to teach for 3 years before you can play minutes. And like Joshua Jefferson can play right now, yesterday, the NBA. He is what he is, and that's almost a good thing at the end of the first round. Like, I don't think there's a whole lot that he can add to his game, and that's not because most of it's just like athleticism and that's really his only, and age, I would say, are his only 2 things that go against him. I don't think he's going to handle the ball nearly as much in the NBA, obviously, and that was kind of another downfall of his, was a bit of a loose handle, but It's not like he's going to be bringing the ball up in the NBA. So I really think like all of these teams that went late in the playoffs, he has an NBA size body. It just makes all the sense in the world to me. And also, like, if it flips the page to tomorrow, you're back in kind of the second lottery with all these teams that are looking for long-term projects. So I think it's best for him and whatever team drafts him for him to go tonight.
What about
he's been
I'm looking at the end of the first round. There's
right.
There's two teams that still have picks to make tonight that are very interesting for this podcast right here. We got Brooklyn in the Julius Randle trade, traded back into the first round, and then Dallas picks 30th. So there's still a chance. See why we wanted to go a little bit later tonight. What if, imagine
in my Wolves, thank you.
No, not
what pick
anymore.
do the Wolves have?
Oh, that's right. They just traded it.
Oh,
yeah, they
to the
traded it
net,
to Brooklyn.
right?
That's right.
Should we do a little live who won the trade here between Matt and Dylan?
Well, the other thing that, like, I think Nick Claxton was obviously the best player in that trade. No matter who the Nets take tonight, he's not going to be better than Nick Claxton. I also think Nick Claxton would have been a great fit on the T-Wolves. He's very much in that kind of Jaden McDaniels mold of switchable, big defender that can cause problems. And he also, I feel bad. He's kind of been wasting away in Brooklyn. He's about the only young prospect that I feel like can do something with his career. Cam Thomas gets waived. I can't believe that happened. That guy scored 40 points multiple times in NBA games, gets waived. I don't know if that's ever happened.
Do you think Cam Thomas averaged in his career?
0. And I don't care, Keeney. That guy was a bucket. What are we doing? If you're trying to lose, just give him the ball. He's going to score 40. The rest of your team sucks. Like, Jesus. Anyway,
now, I saw a theory thrown out there that Julius Randle might be just good enough to win you enough games that you're not the worst team in the league with the new lottery rules.
There's no way.
So it actually helps your chances of getting a higher draft pick to be like the 5th worst team in the league.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think that's what the Nets try to shoot for, is don't be the worst team, but be like the 5th to last team.
That's right.
MPJ and Julius Randle can deliver on that front. I really think they can.
So if you have questions about Michael Brown Jr., that was going to be my next question, is how do you feel about Michael Brown being mentored by Julius Randle and Michael Porter Jr.?
Keeney, those are the exact two veterans you want in the locker room, bringing up this new young class. As long as MPJ doesn't get on another podcast, I think we'll be all right.
Oh,
Matt,
man.
are you reinvigorated with the Timberwolves at all right now, or is it just like on the back burner for you?
I'm glad they flipped Randle. I love him as a player. Really hurt them in the playoffs, and they're kind of in. Dylan, we were talking about earlier. They're kind of in first apron salary cap hell.
No.
I don't know that they wanted to part with him, but they had no choice. They wanted to re-sign Dosunmu, and at a certain point, you just don't have the coins, right? You lacking in the wallet department when you're fighting the apron and the luxury tax. So they needed to clear. They were in a tough spot financially. So I don't know. There's a lot of questions around what everyone feels like that was the first move and that there's another coming. So what that is, I have no idea. But that's kind of the consensus. Their GM is a little bit of a wild card when it comes to that. So I'm sure they're not done. But
Matt, can I get you
the
to? Sorry, go ahead. Finish up.
No, that's it.
Okay, I was going to get you to real quick just power rank the Minnesota professional teams right now.
Love it.
I mean, the Wolves might be number 1 right now. Like, what is it? Back-to-back conference finals for a franchise that has been
really bad.
Dog shit. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, kids, if you're listening. Like, it's been bad. Kevin Garnett is the only reason you were ever good, essentially, and you've had horrible draft picks. So, the Wild have been really good, but they cannot make a conference finals, which the Timberwolves have now done twice. The Vikings are always pretty good, but they're never bad and they're never great. So, and the Twins, don't even get me started on them. Saw a playoff run 2 years ago, and ownership said, actually, now we need to right size the business. Sorry. and they shed payroll like it was going out of style. So don't get me started on that baseball team. So yeah, I think what I think this is the first time ever in the history of that city that you can say the Timberwolves are by far the best franchise in that city. It makes absolutely no sense for anybody listening at home. So it's crazy world we live in.
Right now, your personal enjoyment as a fan, you've got the Wolves at number 1.
Okay, no, as a fan, the Vikings are still number 1, but I'm in the minority on that. If you're from Minnesota, especially Minneapolis, those people are crazy for the Wolves. Like the Wolves are extremely popular because Twins have ownership problems. The Vikings are popular, but there's a lot of Packers fans who live in that state. But the Wolves are huge in that state right now. But for me, as an outsider, but again, as a Vikings fan now, what I got JJ McCarthy, who I have no idea if he knows how to play football or not, and a 5'6" professional gamer at quarterback. Like I'm not necessarily thrilled about either. So, wow, what a world we live in. What a world! What a start to this podcast.
I'm the most stable.
We haven't even hit the big news yet.
Yeah, my football team is the most stable right now. It's something else. All right. We did have big news this week. We've got other stuff to get to. World Cup, obviously, we're going to keep an eye on the draft, talk some more hoops. But big news, gentlemen. Iowa State is going to sell beer at football games this fall. Clap it up for Jamie Pollard, everybody. Can we get some bubs in the chat for Jamie Pollard? The worst kept secret in the world. We knew this was coming, but the official announcement is out now. Matt, this probably affects you most prominently because you're close to the stadium. You'll have, I guess, I don't know. Are you sitting on Hillside for games? So you won't have access there anyway.
Have been historically prior to this year. The Hillside are great if you've got kids because they get free tickets to volleyball, gymnastics. Well, I said gymnastics. Wow, that's a bad word.
Yeah, about that. Matt, I'm going to need to sit down on this one.
What's funny is we actually did take them to a meet this past year, and like literally 2 weeks later, they're like, yeah, we're shutting the doors. So that's always been nice, but I think we're going to get real seats. Okay. I want to talk about the game day side first, and then we can talk about the broader implications because I'm not saying Austin Keeney has to eat some Jamie Pollard crow. I think you can still be in the camp that this is long overdue, and it probably is 5 years overdue. I think on game day it'll be great for 2 reasons. So I think what they're planning on doing, there's 3 things I've seen that I really like. So one, at Ryman Gardens on the south end, which is beautiful, it's right next to the stadium. If you just want to come and tailgate, you can buy a ticket. It's $80. It's all you can eat, all you can drink. They'll have a live band there for the first 6 home games. Ryman Gardens is phenomenal. We take our kids all the time. Here's not a sponsor, could be. Great place. If you guys aren't members, just for your kids to run around for hours, which they'll do because they love that place. It's huge. What a smart idea. You have this nice facility, indoors, heated, air conditioned. So if you don't want to brave the elements, don't have to. Just go park and walk over there to tailgate. They'll serve beer in there. I believe they're going to have a beer garden on the north end of the stadium that they'll operate around game time. I don't know how that'll affect ticketing. That north entrance is a pretty busy entrance. Maybe it'll run open like until they open the gates, which I believe is an hour and a half before kick. Yeah. That's probably what because I think people have seen that leaked online, the application for a temporary permit for that area. I believe they're putting in different fencing. If I saw a few reporters post, love that idea. And then what they said in that post is that we're going to try to have these stands. Now they didn't talk about this for Hilton Dillon's, which I'm really interested about because they kind of glossed over that. They did include it in the announcement, but they said they're planning on having the stands in the concourse corners where the line will not affect people that are trying to get to the bathroom or go through normal concession lines. So I don't know if that means they'll use that area around the north entrance to serve beer. So you'll walk down the ramp to that area in front of the stadium and then back up. It's not a bad idea. You could even do that on the south end, right? You could fence that in south of the Suka. That way, those lines are not affecting anybody. You could just have tents down there. So I'll be very curious, but they did say the permanent concession stands will not be serving. So on the east-west side in Hilton, I assume that means all of them. So they're clearly going to move it somewhere else. They did say they'd have some portable vendors on the concourses. I think if you really wanted to piss off every ISU fan in general, it would have been make concessions even slower and even worse. I think it'll make it better to actually pull those people out of the normal line and send them elsewhere. Last thing is no reentry. Hold on. First comment from Chicken here.
I know. I'm going to need Jay Chicken to elaborate a little bit because I don't think any of us have been to the McHale Center, right?
No, drop some
We almost went
knowledge
for
in the
Casey's,
comments.
yeah.
But I'm a huge fan of what they've at least proposed. And then the no reentry is great. This is maybe one of the number one complaint I've seen from people on social media between the Sukup end zone looking empty on TV after halftime, and then which I think you're paying to sit in a premium suite. Who cares? Do whatever you want. But it is disheartening when you come back in at halftime. You're like, where did everybody go? The stadium is half full. And I'm guilty of that. There are times I'll run out to get snacks from the tailgate. Yes, I will probably down a beer while I'm out there. But if I have the ability to, I'm going to use it. And part of the reason people are leaving is because they can't buy beer in the stadium. They're like, you know what? I want to go out and check scores of other games. I've got a tailgate with food, so I don't have to buy it in here at the stadium. I'm going to go out and eat my own food and have a beer, and I'll come back in. And if I miss the first 5 minutes, oops. So I'm actually really glad that they've gone this route. I think this is the norm for most places. So why not, right? I think it'll help the atmosphere be better. I also think it'll cut down on people going out there and like slamming half a bottle of Fireball and then coming back in and being a menace. And I've heard that from other places that sell beer as well, that it kind of helps control people's behavior a little bit. You also don't have to deal with what security does every game day, which is why does that young man, why does his pants look like there's a 12-pack of beer in them? Because people are always trying to smuggle in every odd fashion you can. Actually, last comment on this top story from when I was in college, Dylan Keeney, there was someone snuck a entire handle of black velvet into the student section in the upper deck.
I've heard stories of like this stuff happening before.
And there was a security guard and a sheriff that were trying to get a hold of the bottle, and they would just pass it down from one end of the road to the other, and everyone would pour a little bit into their cups.
Incredible.
And the police would go sliding down, and then it would end up 2 rows behind, coming back the other direction. Eventually, someone threw the empty jug at the security guard and hit him right in the back. And he picked it up, like started screaming and swore, and then they all just left. And everyone was watching for like 10 minutes. That's what people used to do. And so I think this will help. Like if you're 21, just go buy a beer and let's get on with our lives. So I have no concerns about the atmosphere or how the logistics could be if they don't do it correctly. But I think what they put online, I agree with. I'm just trying to sum up kind of some general themes, like other than jubilation. What have you guys seen?
Yeah, I mean, all right. So first off, we do have more comment here, and I've seen this at like concerts and like indoor venues where you kind of grab it's basically self-service, and then there's someone running a tap to pay station at the end that you grab out of the cooler. Okay, I've got 2 beers. You tap, and then you move on. So
right.
I would imagine that works well for like Hilton. I don't think you can do that in Jack Trice. There's just too many people that need to go through.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt, Dylan, I mean, you guys know the problem with re-entry, right? Is like, I'm going to miss the first 5 minutes of the second half. Well, then that turns into the first 10 minutes of the second half, and then you just never end up going back in. And then the stadium is 40% full, in an important part of the football game. Like, it's just a thing that's long overdue. So yes, I do. If you want me to eat crow, I will say like Jamie Pollard, this is absolutely the right thing to do. The Drunken Slobs won. I feel like we won this battle.
Titled this podcast the Drunken Slobs won.
We held the line, and eventually we won. But I mean, it's really funny because the press release said things like, Iowa State's not immune to the financial challenges facing college sports right now. I'm like, no shit.
Yeah.
Like we are maybe more like affected by it than anybody else in not a power, like, and not the Big 12 or the Big 10 or the SEC who just get money for being themselves. Like we gotta make up every little corner that we can. And this is an obvious thing that'll do it, even if it's $1 million in the first year, it's $1 million that we wouldn't have had, if we weren't.
I'm wondering how upset he was, because I did notice the title just said a letter to the fan base. The post didn't say this is happening. You had to read the letter to find out.
Was it from the Jamie Pollard endowed athletic director, Jamie Pollard?
Yes, it was. Which that's a great bit, by the way. I love that. Okay, so Dylan, your thoughts. My general opinion is that, and when this was first proposed and adopted, there were not very many schools that did it. That has changed so fast in the last 5 years that Jamie just might have been a victim of, I said we'll never do this. I don't want to have to go back on my word, and I'm going to be done soon, and then they can do it after I leave. And eventually it felt like he probably had no choice.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think it was the right thing to do. I am going to push back a little bit on the re-entry thing just because that was so much of my like Iowa State football experience growing up. There's something nostalgic about leaving at halftime, like you said, Matt, going back to your tailgate, eating whatever you brought to begin with, or you don't have to
Yep.
use like buy it at the concession. That was just part of my. And also, when I was growing up, we sucked at football anyways, and so it was like, well,
Bingo.
you're lucky I bought
That's
a
why.
ticket in the first place. And I get it that
Be grateful that I'm here.
things have changed, but I don't know. I'm a little bummed. It's the same thing about the hillsides, where I was bummed when they took the hillsides on the south side there, but I got over it. I'm gonna get over this. I honestly haven't done that in a while, like the leave at halftime, come back in. I think I probably stopped after I was a student. But it was just like that. Just reminds me of being a kid at Jack Trice Stadium and doing what everybody else was doing. And that's the only thing that bummed me out a little bit about this. But yeah, like you said, just getting with the times. No other school does that I know of. Feels like every other school is selling alcohol at college events.
Right.
And what, like, I mean, love it or hate it, I'm probably never going to buy a beer at Jack Trice Stadium, but I know tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of people will. And like Keeney said, you need the money. And now the line to get Pepsi is going to be a hell of a lot shorter. So
It's true.
Works for me.
I'll buy one or two, right? Like that's you've tailgated for Keeney. You and the wife have driven up. You've tailgated for 2 hours. You had a respectable number of beers. You had a couple.
Always respectable. Never over the line.
Always.
Right. It's a beautiful day. You go into the stadium. Like most of us say, I would like to have one more beer. And I don't view that as any different. I don't think it changes the risk or anything. I actually think it makes it better for Iowa State because they can control how people look instead of why did I just see four fireball shooters roll out of the bottom of your pants as you walked up the stairs, right? Like this is a much better outcome. They even said they're going to try to police the hillsides from people having alcohol on the hillsides. I sit there a lot. It's not uncommon to see someone sneak a beer in a diaper bag. I certainly would have never done that. I've seen people do that.
Big of you, Matt. Big of you to not do that.
But I think that's nice. It kind of codifies that area as a place for families, which is predominantly what it is already today.
Sneaking beers in the diaper bag when you don't have kids. That's just poor form.
45-year-old man with a diaper bag. That's right. Yeah. Yep. Austin Kramer, I wonder if
So
this is where I wanted to go next, Dylan. I've seen some reporting from Randy Peterson saying that there seems to be a pretty strong link to this. Keeney, Dylan, what are your thoughts?
This I think just follows. I don't think this was. I guess we're not in the know on this one. We don't know if like President Cook went to Pollard and was like, "Hey, you're doing this, and I don't care. Like this is happening." But it does seem like David Cook is all in on athletics and is going to pull every lever that he has at his disposal to help athletics be competitive. And this is one of them, and we're doing it now. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if the president had some input on making this happen.
Yeah, I think at the very least, there's another voice at the table in the sports world of Iowa State. Like, I think Wendy Winterstein, for the most part, kind of delegated that mostly to Jamie and the other coaches at Iowa State and said, this is not my field of expertise. I think President Cook's a little bit of a different story where, like, I'm sure he saw firsthand when North Dakota State won 1 billion championships in football and their, like, attendance skyrocketed because of it. He's like, no, sports is like a legitimate, that can like change your university, can change your city. Like this is a real player. And I think he definitely has more interest in it than, I don't know. I guess Cyclone Mary's profile picture is probably the last president that we had that would voice his opinion on sports. But I think it's a good thing to have someone else there along with Jamie to talk through these things.
Most teams are making revenue-wise between 3 and 5 million across those home games by selling alcohol. So like Wisconsin, which is similar size stadium, it's a little larger. They have not been very good. So I know fan attendance has been a bit of an issue for them the last couple seasons with Luke Fickell. Netting over 3 million. Nebraska's been close to 4. They estimate Michigan made north of 10 million the last 2 seasons. Now their capacity is 105,000. Like it's a massive place. I don't think Iowa State's at a spot where we can say we don't care about $3 or $4 million in extra revenue. I just don't think they can, right? Plus, you're going to throw in
I think that number even lower. I think if it's like 1.5 to 2 million, it's still too much to leave on the table.
Correct. Yeah, and so I think it's just smart, and also fans have been asking for this, and I know, like, the opinion of Joe Schmo on Twitter, who's not a season ticket holder, doesn't mean anything compared to other people.
But I would say fans, they stopped asking for it a while ago, and they've just been outright demanding it, and they've been getting more and more aggressive over time.
That's right. Yeah, it's very correct. More and more deranged as time has gone on, actually.
It's gotten that way on both sides of the argument, too, because, I mean, Jamie wasn't calling the fans, drunken slobs 5 years ago.
No, but I really do think this evolved fast. It seemed like once this got opened up, 5 years ago, you go visit somewhere and, wow, they sell beer here. I didn't think anyone did that. Now it's basically everybody. So I think that's part of it, too, that the landscape of this sport has adapted. I'm glad to see it for a couple reasons, right? Like the re-entry, all those things. Another one, too, is just I never liked the hypocrisy of Bud Light getting to be a huge Iowa State sponsor. We'll take your marketing dollars, but we won't serve beer here. It always just felt a little sanctimonious to me. And I feel like it's always about money, and we can admit that sometimes. It's okay. We want to make $3 million more in revenue. Great. Let's sell beer.
We are officially entering the Joshua Jefferson range, by the way. I think I've seen him kind of mocked in the 24 to 30 range. So the Knicks are on the clock right now. We're going to keep an eye on it to see if Jefferson does go, and we'll break it down if it does happen.
Couple late ones here. Do really like LeBaron Philon to the Sixers.
That him and VJ Edgecombe, both just like super solid picks.
Also, I really like Zuby Ejiofor going to Atlanta. I like him a lot. I like how athletic he is.
I feel like Zuby Ejiofor was just like created in a lab for Dylan. I feel like he was just like a perfect college basketball player.
Yeah, he really was. I freaking love Zuby Ejiofor. I'd watch that guy play in the Big East the rest of my life.
By the way, Christian Anderson is a perfect. Was it if a tree falls in a forest? Does anyone hear it? If a player is good for Charlotte, does anybody notice? Yeah. Like classic, we'll go to the Charlotte and put up like 15 and 6 and be really good, but nobody will know he exists. Right. Like that, or he'll do the Devontae Graham thing and have one insane all-star almost level season, and then we'll just never hear from him.
Never be heard from. I call it Gerald Wallace disease.
Just in time.
Gerald Wallace was such a good NBA player for such a long time, and nobody gave a shit because he played in Charlotte.
You have that one awesome year just in time to sign another contract, and then you just completely disappear.
Man. NBA 2K11, Gerald Wallace came off the bench for my Timberwolves, and
I bet he
nasty dunker, decent 3-point shooter from the corner, really good defender. I love Gerald Wallace. Atlanta Hawks legend. Can we just turn this into naming random NBA players? Because I would like nothing more. Like nothing more. Sorry.
Do you have more up here? Or do you want to? I know, Matt, you want to talk some World Cup. What's
the World Cup
next on the agenda?
I mean and I don't follow this nearly as closely. It'll take a little bit. I don't know all the players, but it seems like
Sorry, Matt. Nick's pick is
nope.
Cameron Carr from Baylor. Okay.
A lot of Big 12 represented in the draft, which is fun.
Yeah.
Seems like the football staff has done a really good job recruitment wise. Just flipped a guy from Houston to a wide receiver to come to Iowa State, and there a lot of momentum on the high school trail with people that have good offers. So I don't know like what their pitch is. I'd be very curious because we kind of knew what Matt's was, but whatever they're doing seems to be working. So I just wanted to give them a little shout out. They have been crazy active recruitment wise, and talking to some people that I know follow it pretty closely. It seems like they're building a really good class.
Now that reminds me of something I wanted to talk about while we have Dylan here. So, well, look, I feel like I have at least convinced myself that I have some healthy skepticism about the football team this year. Dylan, I think you are actively rooting against us.
No,
in football.
I think I've been unfairly framed as like this. My saying this whole time is I think we're going to be bad until I'm proven that we're going to be good. And I really don't think that's like an outlandish, like we lost everybody.
I mean, the pitchforks have been out for you when you have that take, though. Like Levi, I think, is genuinely upset with you for sharing that opinion.
I think he is, but I have legitimately never seen anything better than 6-6 without Matt Campbell. And like I don't think Iowa State magically became like I think it's still Iowa State. I think Matt Campbell is a great coach and elevated us to a much better place and when he found us. And I think we're in a better spot than we probably were in 2015, 2014 when he took over. And the one thing, and I also get hated on this, like the Big 12 is not the same conference in football as it was 12 years ago either. I think it's probably easier to win in the Big 12 now than it was then. But I need to see it first before I'm just going to blindly believe in a bunch of players I've never heard of. Speaking of naming dudes, you could just go down the Iowa State football roster right now, Matt, and I won't know 85% of them. So I'm going to find out who these guys are. I just think I think at the absolute, if we get to a bowl game, if we go 6-6, that is an absolute win. I think that is like an incredible first year for Rodgers at Iowa State. But I think anything more than that, you're starting to get a little bit outlandish.
We're the meme of the two guys on the bus where the one guy's looking out the beautiful and the other guy's like everyone is just the beautiful. Where like the beautiful side we're looking at is literally just like 5 wins. Like give us like 5 or send us to the Quaker Lane Bowl in Detroit and we'll be happy.
I'm looking at Penn State out the other side of the window of the bus and just like looking at all of the guys that I knew a year ago.
Send us to the Keebler Elf Tree Bowl. Like we don't care. Just win 6 games. That's it.
Yep.
This is also a great time, by the way, if you're watching us live, and shout out to the 1,100 of you that are right now. If you want to start like dropping random names, maybe even fake names of players in the chat for us to ask Dylan about, like, go ahead and do it.
Fake would be even better. A fake one, and Dylan will say, "Oh yeah, Memphis Grizzlies, I believe, came up from the G League."
Yep. I straight up forgot Jalen Raynor was our quarterback like 3 days ago. I'm just not in football mode at all. Like I've probably thought about the World Cup more than I have about Iowa State football in the last week.
Well, Matt, I'm really excited about.
You thought about Don.
I think my
favorite
thought about
Donald Sloan more recently than you thought about Iowa State football.
See, I don't know Donald Sloan. Is that a real player?
He's a real player.
Damn it.
I think my favorite transfer is Tank Phillips on the defensive line.
Yep.
Matt, how do you feel about that guy? You ready for him?
Really impressed by that young man. Loved the tape on Tank Phillips.
Yeah, he was a standout at Division II, Southwestern Holy Sisters of the Poor A&M.
Really good film.
You got me on there.
Matt, where are you? All right, so it's
Evan Boyd, Michigan State transfer. Looking forward to watching him play wide receiver. There we go.
It's June 23rd, Matt. Where do you fall on this spectrum of like doom and gloom, or like maybe like cautious optimism, or just 6-6 would be a miracle? Like, where are you falling right now?
Oh man, Did you have that feeling before you went to college of like, I don't know what to expect because I've never experienced this before? Like just that true, like, I have no idea how to project this. I think with Matt Campbell, even that first year, we knew what he was building because he was pretty public about what he wanted to do, right? They needed to learn how to lose, then had to compete, then had to win. We know nothing about this staff. Like, because the portal, think about how much the sport has changed from, Matt Campbell's first year to now. I'm sure they want to talk to us. I'm sure they want to talk to KCCI and to Cyclone Fanatic. They don't want to talk to us. I'm positive of that.
Yep. And good call by them.
That is probably very safe. That's right.
Well, if they talk to KCCI, Dylan's just over there stewing, like whispering into the camera, "I hope we go 2-10." While like Shannon or Scott Reister's interviewing.
That's right.
I'm editing the interview to make it look worse.
but they man, when do you have time? Like, is it a huge priority right now of all the things they have to do to sit down and give us like long exposés about their coaching philosophy? Like, we'll get to that eventually. I think right now these coaches want to win and they're focused on trying to win. And it just feels like all of this happens so fast with this staff leaving that we don't really know who these people are. I've met a few of the coaches. They're great. There's a lot there that we just haven't seen yet, but it might be a while before we get that. And I'm not saying they're not friendly and they don't want to talk to the media. I don't know. If I'm them, though, I probably feel like I don't have time. I have a whole new high school class to build. I've got 80 new players on this roster. We kind of got spoiled when we would just get interviews with staff members all summer. They're like, yeah, I'll take 2 hours to sit down and talk to you. So because of that, like, I go into this with no barometer. Like, I am adrift. I have no idea what to expect. I can tell you what I want, though, and that is competitive football through October. Like, at the end of the season, if you're 5-7, whatever, right? But man, you've got to give. We all look forward to this so much in the first part of that season, September, October. Like, we really want games that matter. Us to be able to compete. It crushes me when I see Jimmy Rogers ranked last in some big game boomers poll about Big 12 coaches, or us projected to finish at the bottom of the league. Like, we're not used to that. So, and the few times it happened under Campbell, it hurt like hell. So I really just want them to be competitive, and I will be going to every game with a smile on my face because I literally have no expectations. I hope we get to 5 or 6 wins. I think 1 or 2 is almost a death sentence on arrival for this program, and I don't think that can happen. That's a really bad day. But man, anything over that, I don't know. I think most fans are like me. There's definitely not many that are like, yeah, we'll win 7 games, 8 games.
Yeah.
I do feel like we're not walking into like a 2016 style season because we lost everybody, but we were able to bring in like real players. We're not relying on a bunch of high school kids that were frantically added at the last minute and JUCO guys. Like, all right, Lakers pick. Who's it going to be?
Nope.
No, Dylan, you're ahead of me. I've never heard of this guy. Some guy from Spain. All right, moving on.
But with what they kept, right? Like, there is a chance that they could be competitive. Like, almost every starter on defense, not every, like 7 of the starters on defense were guys that either started or played a lot last year. And they brought in a lot of guys from Washington State's defense, which was a top 25 defense. So it's not like this team is comprised of NAIA level players, because it's not. There might be 1 or 2 on the roster, or, like low junior college type or D3 players. But in general, they have the bodies you would think to be able to win some games in this league. The other reason I don't really know is I don't think the Big 12's got much depth. I think there's a lot of teams in flux. Oklahoma State could turn out to be really good with importing an entire roster from North Texas, but it's not like every team is great either. So that's where I don't know. Maybe we're just good enough to beat a few other teams that are not great because our league's had plenty of turmoil here the last few years. But if you're a fan, I think you need to enjoy it. The game atmosphere will have changed a ton with everything that's gone on. And I think the staff also deserves a little time with the way that the last tenure ended. I think even after the season, it'll be way too soon to be talking about how it even went. I think you've got to give him this year as a free pass pretty much under any conditions. That's just my opinion.
Do you want to move on to World Cup?
Name random NBA players. Yes, I do. No, sorry. Let's
okay.
Let's hit the World Cup.
Before we move on, then, yep, everybody's got to name a guy. I'm just kind of stuck. I'm stuck on the Mavs, so I'm thinking about like Michael Finley. Remember that guy?
Nice, great guy. Good pull. Anybody remember Eddie House on those Boston Celtics? Comes off the bench. Man,
yes.
3-point shooter. That got rocked.
See, and then I remember his son as a college basketball guy. I think
I don't like
Mexico.
that at all. That makes me feel too old.
It does. We should do like 6-pack like we used to do, where everyone gets to name a few. Samuel D'Alembert was a backup center for basically every single NBA team. Literally every single team. I believe was a Dallas Mavericks legend. Orlando Magic legend. There was really very few teams that guy did not play for. Remember Jermaine O'Neal, the Pacers?
Dog. Straight up dog.
Bucket getter.
Jamal Tinsley teammate Jermaine O'Neal.
This so Samuel, so what this naturally does is it means I've got to go to my second favorite website on the internet, which is Spot Track, because I got to know how much money Samuel D'Alembert made in his NBA career.
Now we're talking. That's right.
Generational wealth of the D'Alembert family.
Okay. Who wants to? Oh man, we might not even have Samuel D'Alembert on here. Okay. Who wants to throw out a guess? How much money did Samuel D'Alembert make in the NBA?
I also The last podcast, is this when we played that game and I figured this was like my sixth sense that I have like a
You
superpower?
were really good at this.
It might have been the
was
last one you were on,
sniper.
yeah.
Now I just gave myself pressure. I'm gonna say this was kind of before the draft or like the salary cap. Got crazy.
Right.
I'm gonna say a respectful 42 million.
Man, that's such a good guess. I was gonna say right around the same. I mean,
I'm
he
going to go
never
ahead
started.
and jump in here and say, editorialize and say, that wasn't a good guess.
Okay,
it
dang
wasn't.
He played way longer
It
than
gotta
you're
be
thinking.
low.
Way
Yeah.
longer. Okay. 75 mil.
So Google AI, which is famously always right, says he
Yeah, of
made
course.
$90 million over his 13-year career.
Okay, yeah, I would not have guessed 13 years. I would have guessed like 7.
Apparently he was on the 76ers for like 10 years.
That feels wrong.
All right. Matt, let's name some World Cup guys.
Do we want to do the
you-
World Cup or PGA golfer?
Boy, that would be fun.
Do you guys both have World Cup fever right now?
Okay.
The one thing that I will say about the World Cup, at least so far, is like the stars have balled the hell out. Like I seriously probably only know one guy per good team, but all of those one guys have been like phenomenal. Like Messi, Ronaldo, Mbappe, Erling Haaland from Norway is probably my favorite soccer player maybe ever. Like
I think he might be my favorite player too. Like I just learned about who he is. I think he's my favorite player too.
Yeah. Incredible.
He also looks like he just jumped off a longship and is ready to sack an abbot or a nunnery with 2 axes.
The most Norwegian looking Norwegian I've ever seen.
It's incredible, honestly. Here's what I'm in love with, and we haven't. It's been a while since we've talked about this. So like, the America gets a lot of crap from a lot of places, and I think a lot of Americans here love to talk about how much they love to go to Europe. I'm guilty of it. I've been 3 times now.
Man, Matt,
I love
so
seeing.
cultured. That's
No.
Well, have you ever been to Reykjavik though?
I've not been to Iceland. No, I've
Well,
not
then
been there.
okay, maybe you're not as cultured as I thought.
Touche. I compose myself here. Seeing all of these people invade and be absolutely, they're flummoxed is the word I'm going to use, Dylan. They are absolutely bamboozled by America for like 15 different reasons. They are hornswoggled at the size of the United States, that when they like have to, we moved cities. What do you mean I have to drive 16 hours to get to the city that we moved to? Right? Like, incredible that even just the game's in MetLife. I can stay in Manhattan and walk to the game. What do you mean MetLife is like 15 miles from Manhattan? I can't walk that far.
Yeah.
Again, Euros used to biking and walking. Buc-ee's, Texas Roadhouse, Bass Pro Shops, free refills on soda. Like, I've seen video after video of people that are just absolutely perplexed. When you eat in Europe, a lot of times they won't even give you water. And if they do, it's like hot 90-degree water in a glass bottle. There's no ice. They can't get over ice, air conditioning, middle-class houses. Like, I've been to the UK. I've been to Ireland. Like, unless you live in the country, that they don't have a neighborhood like I live in or you live in, Keeney. They have either row houses, like what we view more as like townhomes, or they all live in apartments, condos. So like, for them to see a normal Midwesterner having a massive lawn and a garden, they're like, wait a second. Like, I probably am similar class in Europe, and I probably make similar income as this person, and I live in a 2-bedroom apartment. So it's kind of been funny because they like to crap on us, and now that everyone has visited, they're all like, "Ooh, wait a second, what's going on over here? When did they get more wealthy than we did?" It is also hilarious because now, and I don't want to make that political. I just think a lot of Europeans are discovering like, okay, I crap on the state of Alabama, and then I drive through the southern part where the beach is, and they're like, this place is beautiful. What the heck? I didn't think Alabama would look nice. The other thing that's been really funny is, we're all descendants primarily of Europeans. It depends. Obviously, it could be African, Asian, right? All that plays in as well. But like, Boston is obviously incredibly English, Scottish, Irish, because that's where all they immigrated from. All of New England is, by the way. There's random towns called Gloucester in Massachusetts. Like, anyway, so seeing Scottish people like invade Boston and them never wanting them to leave ever again, to me, is incredible, because I think again, it's unity for the world, which is important. It seems like it's never been more important than what this cup has exposed, but also the content has been incredible. Scottish people just absolutely took that place over for a week and drank all their beer and peacefully paraded around. And they were at Fenway Park, when they would cut a song off, they would sing it for the next minute. And the broadcast on TV was dying because they're trying to call the game, and all you can hear are people in a Scottish accent singing the Bare Naked Ladies in the background. Like, it's just been, the vibes have been fantastic. And it's probably the best commercial for some of these countries, like for places like Scotland or even Algeria, where there's been a ton of content because they're staying here in the Midwest. It's going to make people want to go there. So it's great for them. But I think this has been an awesome infomercial for the U.S., at least for people from Europe or other countries who probably don't ever come here. Third thing I've been blown away by is the amount of like Ecuadorian people who live here when they show their stadium, and everyone's like, why is it so full? It's like, these are almost all people who've emigrated here. And they're crazy fans. And yes, they are traveling up from Latin America and from South America for sure. But it's just been wild to watch how full some of these stadiums are. Ivory Coast, no offense, there was like 14 people at one of your matches that I watched. But for everybody else, like, these stadiums are packed. So anyway, you got a full download from me. I'm curious what you guys' thoughts have been.
I'm not aware of Aussies not having fun here, other than the fact that we
really
beat them. I did see, I think a bunch of them were like doing shoeies at the Mariners game before we played them. So I actually thought it was a bad omen for the United States, but then we ended up winning the game anyway. I got to say, I'm not really a soccer fan. I didn't have high expectations. Like, I'm going to watch a bunch of World Cup when it's on, but I've been very pleasantly surprised. I've watched much more of it than I probably expected to. One thing that was really funny is that countries with pyramids are undefeated. Did you know that? I saw that going around.
That can't be.
So Egypt, I think, has a win and a tie. Mexico has 2 wins, and then the USA, because we have the Bass Pro Shops pyramid in Memphis. That was the joke. So that was
perfect.
And the Scottish fans drinking Boston Dry, that's a real thing. Like,
it did happen.
It was like St. Patrick's Day times 100 apparently in Boston. So shout out to those guys.
Have you appreciated soccer a little bit more watching it? Like, I know it seems slow at times. I'm curious what your thoughts are.
To me, the flopping is so egregious. It's so hard for me to look past. Every time they fall, I'm like, what did he do? And I know some of it is strategy and like giving your players time to breathe, because they have hydration breaks now. I also really like the VAR thing where they just go look, automatically have a box penalty on the defense, 15 yards. I'm like watching a lot of these at work on mute, like they're just on the TVs while I'm in the newsroom. So the first time I saw one of the referees do that, I'm like, what the hell does that mean? But I don't know. The flopping's crazy. And I don't know enough about soccer to be like, oh, this is what makes France so good, or this is what, all of that goes way over my head. Right. But it's just, like I said, it's been fun to me. The stars, like the guys that you would put on the FIFA video game cover, those guys are having like the best World Cups of their lives. And that's just like all happening at the same time. Also, there's something about, I know like soccer is big everywhere, but the pageantry that comes with sports in the United States, whether it's college football or NFL or NBA or whatever, like I think just the lights are so bright here. It feels like you can't have a bigger stage than like these NFL stadiums. I don't know. It's just, I've really liked all of it. My favorite content has been the Bass Pro Shops.
Incredible.
I don't know how I would explain a Bass Pro Shop to a European. I don't know. Like, I don't know what they sell there. Like, it's like camping stuff, but they also have an aquarium and like mountains, like
a bowling alley in the basement. There's deer heads everywhere, and they might have guns? 1,000 guns in that store. And like, you've got to understand, for some of these countries, it's illegal to own like literally any gun unless it's like a single shot.
We just have like a whole department store wall.
Just correct. So like for them, not only is this, it's like, I think it's viscerally shocking to them to walk through one of those stores and see, like, I saw one that posted a picture. They found a vending machine in Texas that spit out ammunition. And they're like, what is this? It's like, that's that's Texas, man. Or the videos of people trying barbecue, especially British people trying like Texas barbecue,
that's been awesome.
and you can see their lives, the like color finally
there's like something that
in their eyes
up here.
That's correct. We don't have to eat stuff on toast.
Yeah.
No beans. Beans on toast.
No beans. What's amazed me is, and this is what, if you want to like be a little bit better fan, just do a little Googling about the coach for the U.S. because it betrays a lot about our inability to play soccer well, to play soccer good. That was bad English. I was going to say that and then I changed it. Is basically the U.S. group, from what I understand, Dylan, is like a fraternity, but like the bad kind. Where you have to know, it's like the who do you know here? You have to play. You have to have an aunt who played for the women's team, or a dad who was a coach, or come through certain programs. Like it's all, I don't want to say nepotism. That's part of it, but it's like this little closed group, and no one can coach it except for people who agree with what this group thinks, and that has held soccer back in this country, not anything else. And it's kept people from declaring. I believe it's like the Olympics. I'm not an expert, but like. There's a player on the team who I believe it could have played for 3 different countries, and he declared to play for us. I think it's Balogun. And I think a lot of players like that, he's been really good. And I think players prior didn't do that. They were like, no, screw you guys. Your program's dysfunctional. I don't like your coach. And it took private equity money to hire the coach that they have. He's from Argentina. It cost them like $6 million, and they couldn't afford it. And somehow they got private equity to do it. And this guy's not from this little cabal circle, and he doesn't care about it. And all he's done is make fun of those people. And I think it's pissed some of the most powerful people off at our national program. But for everybody else, they're like, finally, you stopped this corrupt little organization that was running this group, because we weren't good. We haven't been good for a long time. And they cared more about keeping themselves in power and in charge of our soccer team, apparently, than they did actually winning. And it took an outside coach to come in and blow all that up. So I did read there are way more good players on this. This is not like your typical U.S. team. I don't follow soccer super closely. I do pay attention to the Premier League a little bit, but our starting lineup is essentially better than it's been in any tournament prior. Like this might be the best team we've ever fielded, because a lot of players who would normally sit out have decided to play for the U.S. So they're not just like the U.S. has no chance. They're pretty good. They could make the quarters, maybe. Like they're good enough to advance pretty deep.
I think it might be worth the Balogun story. By the way, Chris Sinak to the Celtics, and now the Brooklyn Nets are on the clock, Dylan. But what I've heard about this Balogun guy is that the only reason he is eligible to play for the U.S. is because he was born here. I think his parents are Nigerian, and his mom happened to be in the States and too pregnant to fly home.
Yep.
So she had to have a baby here, and
Born
that baby
Brooklyn.
is Flo Balogun, who's like one of the best soccer players in the world. I just heard of him for the first time a couple of weeks ago. But
also, former Packers wide receiver's son is on the team. Is that Jake Ferguson's son? Yeah, he's like 20 or 21. He's super young. I think that's who it was. But am I getting the NFL player wrong? So like I don't know. Everyone knows Christian Pulisic, but it's a fun story if you read and look into it a little bit more. Like I think who I feel happy for, everyone knows in their life, someone who is like an actual U.S. soccer diehard. I know a few. They've been to a lot of their matches, friendlies they play, like they're huge fans. I'm happy for them because I think being a U.S. soccer fan for like the last 40 years has been like a kidney stone. It cannot have been fun. Like the women's national team has had a ton of success, but if you're a fan of the men's team, it's been brutal.
What was it? Was it the last one that we didn't even qualify for?
Yeah. There's been a couple since I've been alive that we haven't qualified for.
Like it makes it just impossible to get into the team if we're not even good enough to make it to the World Cup.
I also
despicable losses in international play prior.
Matt, I don't know if this guy is part of it, is part of this like kind of society, but Alexi Lalas, the commentator, that guy sucks. We need to get that guy out of this.
Heck out of here.
Anytime Zlatan Ibrahimovic just dunks on him, I'm like, hell yeah. That guy, I don't know. The whole thing, like, it just really, people say this about like Shaq and Chuck too, that they just like hate on the new generation. Like it seems to me that he's not even happy that like America's winning. Right. And that is so like we are in our country. This is the first time millions of people in our country have given a shit about your sport. Why would you try to like dampen that at all. Like if there is going to be a turning point, I feel like for USA soccer, it would be this year. Like this would be the 92 dream team inverse of like, okay, we brought all of this soccer to our country. Our country thinks it rocks now because we had some success. And I don't know why anybody would be against that.
I also love that Zlatan has been like very like supportive of us. I know other than playing here, he really doesn't have a ton of connection other than when he was in the MLS. And big fan of that guy. He's irrationally confident in himself.
Yeah.
The Zlatan commercials where he plays all three anchors, and at the end they do the credits, and it's all just done by Zlatan. I think that's great. Yeah. It's great content. So honestly, it's been entertaining summer wise. The videos, the reels, the tweets, the coverage has been actually super entertaining. And I think a lot of people who don't care about soccer have been paying attention because it's happening here. And I don't know, the coverage has been really positive. Helps that we've looked good too. So
Sports on in the middle of the day is just a huge dub too.
That's the other. That's what a win! Daytime television. If you can give me sports at 2 p.m. on a weekday, I'm gonna watch it.
I think we're gonna get a Brooklyn Nets pick here any second. The pick is in. I feel like we gotta stay on through the last two picks of the first round because Dallas is gonna go. So we gotta get through the end of the night, see what happens with Jefferson. Jay Billis is best available. Jefferson is on it.
If the Nets pick Richie Saunders here, I'm getting off. No, I'm logging off. I want you to know that right now.
Another BYU legend for the Brooklyn Nets.
Right along Agor Demon. Can't wait for that dynamic.
How'd his rookie year go? How'd it go?
Who knows, Keeney? Who knows? Nobody watched.
Okay, here we go. Commissioner's coming to the stage.
Give me the good news.
He did it! Yeah! Joshua Jefferson, you are a Brooklyn Net. Oh, he's there too. That's awesome.
Hell yeah, dude.
What a moment.
I can't believe that. I'm buying a Joshua Jefferson jersey tonight.
Let's go. Is TJ there?
He's probably in Wisconsin getting a 4-star recruit.
He probably is.
I had to guess.
What a moment. Congratulations, Dylan.
Getting a 4-star recruit.
Wow. That was incredible.
Dylan, it happened. It happened live on the Litecast.
How does he know Mike Miller? Was that Mike Miller?
Mike Miller. Keeney, we need to cut that clip of Dylan reacting to this. See if Aiden can climb through the feed. That would make great content.
We got to get Aiden on that. Yeah, we got to get Aiden on that one.
Josh Jefferson
get all over again too about the sprained ankle, but that's awesome.
From not bench player, starter at St. Mary's to first round pick, playing for Dylan's Brooklyn Nets.
Come be an Iowa State Cyclone.
He went before Corey.
They better show that pocket pass to the no dip 3.
Are you so you get Jefferson now, you get Torre next year.
Man.
You get Donovan Davis in 2028. You know, that's the core of a Brooklyn Nets championship team right there.
Man, that makes me really happy. Hell yeah. The Brooklyn Nets needed a win. I needed a win, and I got one.
There you go.
Dylan, I'm so
all right, we got 2 picks left in the first round. So Dallas is up at pick number 30, which means we got to stay on the pod until Dallas makes their pick. So what else do we have that we haven't hit yet?
Sorry, I am responding to text messages.
All of the texts.
Is this like it's like Dylan, you know the meme, like on your birthday you have 2 texts. When Joshua Jefferson gets picked by the Nets, you have 47 texts.
Yeah, that's correct. My grandma might call me tonight about Joshua Jefferson being drafted by the Brooklyn Nets.
Can we a couple according to the internet, the random Brooklyn Nets Hall of Fame. Anthony Morrow.
Oh yeah.
Marshawn Brooks. Man, I think they called him MT3. if I remember correctly. Terrence Williams. Oh man, where did Rondé Hollis Jefferson play college ball? Why do I know that?
Arizona.
Name?
Arizona.
He was
Good,
Arizona.
good basketball player at Arizona.
You know what I'm thinking of when I think of Brooklyn Nets is, and he's a Hawkeye, but you remember Reggie Evans?
Oh, who could forget?
He averaged like 0 points and 15 rebounds a game.
Yeah, that guy.
Like,
that guy was
completely incapable of putting the ball in the basket, but man, could he rebound?
Man, I'm looking through 20 years of Brooklyn Nets first round picks. This is
it's dark, Matt. It's a dark place to
Man.
go. It's unbelievable. It's Brooke Lopez and literally a bunch of people you've never heard of.
Chris McCullough.
I don't know who that is.
I do. Ryan Anderson was a serviceable
Yep.
power forward who could shoot some threes.
Had some good years on the Rockets.
You know, I always get him confused with Josh McRoberts, otherwise called Josh McBob. Remember Josh McBob? Older player. I might have hopped in the okay. Derek Favors, was he a Kentucky Wildcat?
Yep. I want to say Georgia Tech, but I might be wrong on that. But he had a lot of good years in Utah.
In Utah, right? Yeah, that's right.
A lot of these, even the good picks that the Nets had were good for other teams.
Karis LeVert and Jared Allen, fine.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense, Day'Ron Sharp. I've never heard of you.
Yeah, I think he's still on the Nets. He's an okay big man.
Do you guys want to
last year?
Do you want to call your shot? Does Taman get drafted tomorrow?
I think probably not. I think he should. I really do think it's in most cases better if you're going to be like in the last 10 picks of the NBA draft. It's probably better to go undrafted, and you can kind of but you have some options at least on, this could be a good fit. I had a good workout with these coaches and this team. I think it just gives Taman a little more flexibility on where he ends up. But also, it's everyone's dream to get drafted. So
his destiny to me feels like, plays decently well in summer league, plays well in the G League, gets a 10-day contract somewhere, and then just maybe sticks on the end of the bench for a little bit, for a couple of years.
I hope so. I'm going to miss Taman Lipsey so much that I just probably he's right there with Niang on my favorite Cyclone basketball player of all time. Just like what he did for the program. Incredible.
What a night. He'll be a good fit. I think roster wise, don't you think Josh has got a spot?
Yeah. If he doesn't start, I'm calling the Brooklyn Nets and saying, who the hell?
First round pick is guaranteed money. So he's getting a guaranteed contract from the Nets.
They were looking for elite lead guard and scoring forward was what kind of DraftNet had as their needs going forward, that they were short playmaking. Right. I think he'll fit well.
They also, if they would have got Acuff and Joshua Jefferson, the way I would be throwing a parade in Des Moines, Iowa right now. Oh, this makes Mikal. I almost totally forgot they drafted Mikal Brown like an hour and a half ago. That sucks.
Just an hour and a half ago. That's right.
We
all right.
Maybe I missed it. Did you guys talk about Bennett Sturts at all?
Yeah.
Drake Bulldog legend Bennett Sturts.
Oklahoma City Blue future Hall of Famer. Very excited. Very excited for him.
I also, before we get out of here, I want to say I'm really excited for the Iowa Hawkeyes. They are going to play so many big non-conference basketball games next year, nowhere close to Iowa City. So really cool of Ben McCollum to schedule all these really fun non-conference games and play them hours away from all the Hawkeye fans in Iowa City. That really good move, I think.
Matt, I feel like Northwest Iowa a little bit better than Bob Rose Buffalo Wings. That's what I think of when I think of Sioux City. But are there a lot of Hawkeye fans in Sioux City? Is that going to be a game that gets well attended? It feels more like Cyclone country to me.
Sioux City's big time Cyclone country.
Well, Nebraska too.
Nebraska. There's a lot of Nebraska up there.
There is a lot of Nebraska fans in Sioux City. I would say my high school, which is 20 minutes from Sioux City, there was probably more Nebraska fans than either Iowa State or Iowa. I think Iowa State was still probably higher, but man, there's a lot of Nebraska fans. They were dominant for a long time. Are they? They're not playing a game in Sioux City, are they?
That's what they announced today.
Virginia
Yeah.
Tech. And then they're playing. Who are they playing in Des Moines? They're playing someone. They were doing another
Alabama.
non-conference game. Yeah, and 2 in Des Moines, or just 1.
They're playing at the Tyson Event Center.
Hell yeah.
Man, for those keeping score at home of the NAIA volleyball national championships, and that's about
Who
the
could
most
forget?
prestigious thing that goes on in that building.
All right, let me ask you guys a question.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Why would Virginia Tech agree to that?
I don't know. I was talking to Aaron Marner. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with him on Cyclone Twitter. He's one of our social guys at KCCI. I think some of this is net manipulation because this counts as a neutral site game, even though it is 12 hours closer to Iowa than any of these other teams coming to the state of Iowa to play Iowa. I think there needs to be a little caveat to neutral site if it's like way closer to your fans than it is the other one.
Sioux City, I think they can get full credit for that one because that doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it really
so
doesn't.
let me ask you guys this question then. So
a little Jaden Kuhn homecoming game though. Shout out to my cousin Jaden.
he's not actually related to you, is he?
Yeah, I distantly, yes. I don't know.
And you let him break up with Creighton to go there?
I'm so sorry. Tom Turner, if you're watching, I'm so sorry.
Dylan, shame on you. All right. So Iowa State, it seems like, has kind of adopted Sioux Falls as this is our neutral site venue where we'll play a game every year. Do you guys like that, or would you rather play it somewhere else? If you could like call your perfect neutral site venue, what would it be?
I mean, like Kansas City. A lot of Iowa State fans in Kansas City that just live there, and then also just way more fun to go to than Sioux Falls, and probably about the same distance for me, maybe even a little closer to Kansas City. But I have family in Sioux Falls. I'm fine with Sioux Falls too, and TJ it makes sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say Milwaukee, but that's a little bit far. I think Omaha'd be great. I know we played Creighton in that exhibition. A lot of Iowa State fans there. I think it's a big destination. I would say St. Louis if it was closer. I actually went to Iowa State played the Jake Layman led Maryland Terrapins in Kansas City.
I like that.
Good pick, Keeney. Good pick.
Oh, Kopi, I like that.
That's a perfect.
I want to say Diamond Stone was on that team. There's not a name in college basketball that's infuriated me more than Diamond Stone.
Maryland Terrapin legend Diamond Stone. That is a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Might as well be called Hammer Mallet. Who was the really good little guard that played for Maryland around that time? Was it Mello Trimble?
Mello Tremble.
Yeah. Now
brother.
we're talking.
Yeah, he played at Maryland for like 200 years.
Yeah.
He was on
great haircut on Mello Tremble.
He was like on the Perry Ellis, George Niang pantheon of guys that were that felt like they were at their school forever.
Man, there was another
Dylan, I'm with you, by the way.
Maryland teams that was really good. I'll think of it. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, I'm going to say, Dylan, I'm with you. I think Kansas City's the perfect venue. It's way bigger than the Pentagon, so I think you could get 10,000 Iowa State fans there instead of the Pentagon that seats like 6,000 people total.
Right.
Des Moines too close, so you might as well just play Hilton.
It would be like I could walk to the game if they played it in Des Moines, but that would be cool. But I don't know why they would.
Yeah, it's too close to Hilton to not just have the home game. But yeah, I think if I could call my perfect venue, I'd say let's play, Illinois at the Sprint Center, or let's play.
That would be great.
Yeah, like Oklahoma, come on up to Kansas City. We'll do like an old school Big 12 matchup there.
Yeah, I would love that.
Man, you didn't think we were going to talk about Jake Layman on this podcast tonight, and you all were wrong. We did. Minnesota Timberwolves legend, Jake Layman.
That was plus 2,000 on Cowshy tonight, Matt, for us to bring up Jake Layman on the Litecast.
Hold on.
A lot of people cashing that ticket.
Jake Layman career earnings. Hold on, Sport Track.
Yes, Spot Track. Let's go.
Jake. Okay. Okay, I need some guesses here.
Oh man, I don't feel like he played that long.
6 seasons.
6 seasons.
That is bad.
25 million. He got a second
that
contract somewhere. I'm gonna say 25 million.
That feels decent, Keeney. I'll go a little bit above that and say 30.
Boy, you giving our boy Jake Lehman too much credit. He took his 17.6 million and laughed it all the way to the bank.
Yep.
He was given the most money, of course, by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Gave him a 3-year, 11.5 million contract. That's great. Good work, Minnesota. Was a Trailblazer at the start of his career. How about that? That's an immaculate grid gold mine there. Trailblazers, Minnesota crossover. You got it. Andrew Sandberg, who do we claim more? The Pacers for not offering Milan a two-way with no picks, or Halliburton for not paying him to come back?
I don't think Milan would have taken a two-way, by the way. I think he wanted a guaranteed contract on an NBA team.
I just think it's crazy that an NBA team was just not like salivating about a 48% 3-point shooter that's 6'8"
with a Serbian sounding name.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's right up there.
Dead ass. If this guy was from Serbia instead of Wisconsin, he would have been a lottery pick tonight. That's how stupid NBA scouts are.
I've watched Dario Saric play. He's way better than him.
Yeah, exactly. Zenon Musa was drafted in the first round, but Milan Momcilovic can't be. What are we talking about?
That's right.
Matt, you know what we
I watched Omri Caspi run around this league making threes for years. Yeah. Come on.
Remember Furkan Korkmaz, Matt? What are we doing?
Korkmaz. Oh,
all right. Man. Dario Saric spot track.
Oh, yes. No,
he probably made too much money.
I want to say he got
in the NBA.
He got a big contract because he's been in Philly? Philly, Arizona.
I want to say, was he drafted by Phoenix?
I thought he was drafted by Philly. He also was in Milwaukee. I want to say he maybe won a ring with Milwaukee. Boy, this is great. We know way too much about
9 years, 8 teams. Dario Saric.
Oh,
wow.
9 years, 8 teams.
I'm going to say he made $60 million.
I don't know if this is true or not. Apparently, he was on the Pistons and the Kings last year.
That's why I was like, I feel like he might still be on a team somewhere.
Matt, what's your number?
60 mil. Was he a Denver Nugget? He was a Denver Nugget.
Yeah, he was. That might have been where he won his championship.
Yeah, he played for 8 teams.
I'm going to say 72.
Oh, you guys overshot it there, but Dario Saric took his $51 million and laughed all the way to a bigger bank than Jake Lehman did.
Oh my gosh, Saric was a Timberwolf for 1 year. How did I not know this?
People forget, Matt. People forget.
All right, guys. Did we have anything else?
No, I mean we don't need to get into.
That's the next podcast is just spot track.
Yep.
You know,
send us a list of random NBA players to discuss, and we will talk about Randy Foye and Caron Butler to your heart's content, and what would have happened if Brandon Roy's knees would have held up. Great conversation.
Man. Raymond Felton, shout out.
Oh man. Diet Jalen Brunson? Raymond Felton.
Before Big Body Brunson, there was Fat Raymond Felton, and people aren't talking about that.
I'm trying to think of a good one to go out with.
You had Raymond Felton on your bingo card to get discussed on the Litecast. You were certainly not correct.
Yep.
I think so. Which North Carolina team was he? Was that the one with Sean May, or was that the one with Tyler Hansbrough? No,
I think it would have been Hansbrough.
I think the Hansbrough one was Ty Lawson was his point guard.
You're exactly
Remember
right.
Ty Lawson?
Man, North Carolina had some point guard.
Bald, thick headband, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Ty Lawson.
Ty Lawson in Denver. Those powder blues.
That's what I remember about him. He was fast.
Really thought Aaron Aflalo would make a great NBA player. I was not correct.
Wow.
9 of 30.
9 of the 30 that's a great note to end on.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, suck on that.
SEC basketball. It means more.
All right, boys. That's I think that's a perfect place to cap it off. This was a lot of fun. Shout out to the Iowa Distilling Company. Shout out to Dylan and Matt for carrying me for a couple minutes there at the start. Yeah, great show, guys. We'll talk to you next time.
Go Brooklyn Nets.
Go Nets.
Shout out to Josh Jefferson.